Built for Life session today. Let me explain to you what Built for Life is. I know a lot of people come to the academy because they might be rugby players or contact athletes, which is a big part of what we do. But myself and Josh, my co-founder, I'm 37, Josh 36. We've got loads of injuries. We've got dodgy shoulders and backs. So we've created something recently, which is called our BFL, which is our Built for Life plan. That plan's very different to our rugby plan. It's about how can you train when you're time poor, so you don't have much time. You maybe got 3 hours a week. How do you get the most return on your time investment to get in good shape? This is exactly how me and Josh train. So every 4 weeks we get together upstairs in the office here and we go, right, we've got time for our new BFL block. And we've just written this new block. And I'm gonna do session 1, upper body for you today. I'll talk to you why we pick certain exercises, because it's much more about training smart when you get to my age and my injury history, not just training super hard all the time, endlessly, hours and hours on end a week. So this is Built for Life, upper body session 1. Come and join me with it. I'm going to do it real time and make a session out of it, and I'll explain to you why we program certain things, not just the what. So come in and check it out. Right, so as always, get into good habits. I've set my bench press up, but you should never walk into a session and do bench press. Hopefully, if you've been watching a few of these episodes now, you know that we always pride ourselves on warming up properly. Now, this is what you call it prehab, physio, whatever you want. And there's only 2 sets of each. They're not massively physically demanding, but it's just gonna keep all the niggles away. So I just get in the habit. It only takes 5-10 minutes. Rather than doing a separate physio session, I say physio in inverted sort of commas, rather than do a separate physio session in a week for 20 minutes, just add 5 minutes of prehab at the start of each session. 1, it'll serve as a nice warm-up before you actually get into your main strength lifts. And 2, it'll keep the niggles away. So I indirectly see it as strength training because you'll just keep those niggles away. So we've got a face pull to start, which is number 1. And then another good one, banded Cubans. So a Cuban is when, I find this tricky, so I got to do a bit of a modified version because I haven't got much shoulder internal rotation, but it's a rotator cuff exercise. So get a band here about shoulder width apart. You rotate backwards here, so your elbows are at 90 degrees, and you can just press directly above head. It wants to pull you forwards. So press vertically, and the higher up you go, the tension gets harder on the band. It's a really nice move just to warm up your upper back, your shoulders, your rotator cuffs. And we've got some overhead presses today as well. So we've got something called Z press coming up. So it's quite nice that when you do your warm-ups, you integrate it and make them slightly specific to what you're going to be doing later on, just so it's a nice precursor for some of your main lifts. So this is Cuban press, banded Cuban press. We got some shoulder taps, so a little bit of core in here as well, but just a little bit of shoulder stability work. Just going to tap our shoulders. Let's go for 5 times each side. Now, very common mistake with this. See people doing it like this, right? Which is absolutely wrong thing to do. So when you move your hand, your hips want to drop because obviously you're in like a nice sort of quadruped position here. You move your hand and suddenly you feel your core working really hard. So the challenge is to make your hips not move. So you want to do it and keep everything as still as possible. Now, if you keep it really still, your core is lighting up and it's really hard. If you do this, that's what your hips want to do, so it makes it easy. So make sure you keep it nice and still. I'm going to show you a little tip to make sure, give you some instant feedback so you know you're doing it right. I'm looking for a foam roller. If you're doing this by yourself and you haven't done it before, just so you know you're doing it right, put it on your lower back and you'll just be a lot more careful now. Put that in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do it, but I don't want this pad to fall off my back. You see how much more tension I'm paying. So if I do this now, if I don't stay rock solid, it's going to come off. Oh my God, I find it hard to talk when I'm doing this. So it shows, it just makes it much harder. If I did what I was doing before, and I'm gone, because I'm moving too much. So if you're on your own, put this pad on your back, and it'll make sure you stay nice and still like a coffee table. Imagine there's a cup of tea on there, you don't want it to spill. So if you keep it on your back, you're doing it properly. So we've got our first superset now. That's the warm-up done. That's between 5 and 10 minutes. And now my shoulders feel great. Got my prehab done, got my rotator cuff. I've worked some scapular stuff. Great. Tick that box for the week, so that's good to go. 5-10 minutes, that's all it takes. Now we're gonna go into a superset. This is my main strength superset. So we always start our sessions with 2 exercises, which complement each other. So like one push and one pull exercise. This is a pull exercise. And I would always recommend, even if it's a warm-up set, do your push first. It's more important you prioritize your pull, and it sort of warms up your shoulders. If you go into a heavy push and you haven't activated your back, I feel, in your shoulders, sometimes I just find that push becomes a little bit more uncomfortable when you haven't activated yourself properly. So even your warm-up sets, we're going to superset this, but even do your pull warm-up sets first, because I find it's just a much nicer sort of warm-up ready for your press exercising. So we're going to do prone pull. This is prone, lying down your chest, face down means prone. And we're going to do it with a bench press. This is basically a reverse bench press. We're doing prone pull, superset with a bench press. Now with bench press, I often like to do 2 warm-up sets. Textbook would be like 60, 90, then into working weight. You don't need these to go close to failure. And I don't like to pee off my shoulders either. So I'm just going to feel the weight. Even though it's 60, I'll lift it like it's 100. Nice and slow and controlled. Even though it's my first warm-up. Might just do anything between 3 and 5 reps. Put a little bit more weight on. I'll do less reps on my next warm-up set. So I go for like an 80 here or 90. Might just do 2 reps. All I want to do is just like almost prime that nervous system. Just like feel the weight. I've warmed up my shoulders already. Get a little bit of load through my chest. Feel that range of motion. A couple of sets now on 80, and I'll be ready for a working set. So again, it only takes a few minutes. It's not going to fatigue you because we'll rest properly before our first working set. 60 ain't going to fatigue me. I've done 3 to 5 reps. So I'll do another couple on here just to feel the weight. Control the movement. Don't try and show off. Just a couple, that feels nice. Right, have a little chest stretch. I'll be ready to go. Okay, so what I've got here is something called Remaker, something I really like, VBT, velocity-based training. I only use this on certain exercises I really want to gain strength on, really want to dial in on my strength. Following reps is good. If you really want to hone in on your strength and power, you use this. You can see here, right? This is going to tell me the velocity I'm lifting at. This will tell me in meters per second how fast the bar's moving. For certain types of power, for certain strength, whether it's upper body or lower body, there's certain bar speeds you need to be working on. Strength upper body bench press, I want to be in, for this session, I want to be in that 0.2 meters per second range. If I'm hitting 0.3, 0.4, it's traveling fast, it means it's too heavy. If it's traveling at 0.1, it's too grindy and slow, it's too heavy, so drop the weight. So you got to make sure you're working in that 0.2. So I got a stand here, I tilt it like this, so I can get live feedback as I'm lifting, how fast that bar's moving. So I'm going to do a set now. I'm going to aim for around 3 to 5 on 120 kilo. But even if that bar speed goes now down below 0.2, so I'm hitting the 0.1, it's too heavy, and I'm going to rack it. Because if you keep grinding through really hard reps and going all the way to failure, which you don't have to do to gain strength, you're doing the wrong thing. So this is just, I've done this for my pro career, something I've probably brought into this now, but people who are serious about their strength, I always recommend use VBT, and we use Remaker. I love it, really user-friendly too. 0.24. There we are, 0.12, there we are. See, so that 3 is hard. So 0.1, I was only aiming for 3 anyway, because I kind of know, but you can see that live feedback there. That last set rep was too slow, so I know to can it on 3 and then rest up for my next set. I want to sort of, when we do a strength superset to start, strength really should be 6 or less, really. You can like lift anything from 60% of your 1RM, 70% of your 1RM. So say you can lift 100 kilo, 60 or 70 kilo for reps at a challenging rep range. For some people that could be 8, for some people that can be 12. You can still gain strength, but really, I find if you're in that 6 reps or below, so I like sort of 3 to 6. 3 to 6 really is that sweet spot for gaining strength. So I'm gonna be somewhere in that rep range on this set now. Okay, so superset number 2, we've done our strength stuff. Now we're gonna go into some higher reps. So this would be like typically 10 to 12. So we're gonna do, again, opposing exercises. We're gonna go a wide grip lat pull. So that's called the horizontal pull, the prone pull, because I'm pulling in this plane horizontally. So in that sort of 90-degree angle here. Now this is what you call a vertical pull, because we're pulling from up above. So we're just going to make sure that we sort of cover a few bases in the session for you. So this is a vertical pull now. Going to go for 10 reps on here. And Z press, which I'm going to show you in a sec, is going to be a vertical push. So we're going to go vertical pull with a vertical push. Right, and now the vertical push. So we're going to do seated Z press. So this is basically, we mix up on our blocks which sort of vertical press we'll do. You can do a military, dumbbell shoulder, there's loads. We like this one because it really isolates the shoulders and it's a really big core exercise as well, so you're not leaning back. Often when people do shoulders, they'll put it vertical like this and they lift, but they end up moving their hips forward, so you just create that angle, so you're not really getting that pure vertical press. When you do a Z press, there's no way out. You can't lean back because you'll fall backwards, so just sit down in that teddy bear stance, and this is a really good, make sure you switch on your core, set your shoulder blades. Don't pick a weight too heavy. I'm probably 60% of what I would do if I was sat down, but it's because it's so strict. Okay, so now we're on to the finisher. Now, it's important with these last two supersets. The strength one, not so much, as I mentioned. You don't have to go to failure to get strong. You can leave a few reps in the tank and still gain strength. But on these exercises, we're going to give you at least 48 hours before you hit a muscle group again. It's important on the last exercise at least, so you're doing 3 sets. On the last one, you go close to failure. This is a good one. You can do this on biceps as well. And isolated movements, so when you're using like one joint, for example, most typically bicep curl and triceps, I tend to go close to failure on almost all 3 sets, just to really flood them, and you just feel good anyway. But this is a new one, right? This is a great thing about having so many coaches in. We're always bouncing ideas off each other, learning off each other. This is one that Josh, I give him credit for this one. He showed me this the other day, it's my new favorite. So bicep curl, we're gonna do this strictly with palms facing forward. So that sort of supinated grip. So it isolates your bicep. If you do hammer grip, then you get a little bit more forearm in. So this grip just focuses a little bit more on the bicep, really hard. Now you'll notice I've got a bar behind me. The reason I've got this bar is I'm going to put my arms, my triceps against the bar, and I'm not going to move them. It means I'm not going to get momentum and bring my arms forward. So you're using obviously some front delt there to get the dumbbell up. If I keep my arms here, I can't get any swing, so I can't create any momentum, and it just makes it really strict. So we've got dumbbell curl here, supinated grip, really strict. It's actually fairly comfortable because you can sort of lean back. So I'm going to do a set now to failure, keep my arms in contact with the bar, keep my grip supinated and really isolate those biceps and go to failure. Let me just give you another tip as well. Whoa, so failure doesn't always mean you can't get to a full rep up there, for example. I'm not going to show you with the dumbbells, I'm gassed. But what is, I couldn't get a full rep for the last 3, but even just 2 or 3 half reps here is still going to be really good and give you good stimulus, and it shows you still got more effort in the tank. So just because you can't do a full rep doesn't mean you're at failure. Plus, a lot of good evidence emerging that when you lift with your arm or the muscle that you're targeting in a lengthened position, so if it's bicep, that's the lengthened position, that's the shortened position. If I'm in a lengthened position, that's advantageous for muscle growth. So even 3 half reps from its most lengthened point to the midpoint, 3 half reps there is still going to be great. So just because you can't get a full rep doesn't mean you can give up. I often like to do half reps like that, or another good option. I've recovered a little bit now so I can pick them up. So you can just do the half reps to finish, make sure you're gone. Or once you finish that last full rep, you sort of at the top come down and hold an ISO. And you might be able to hold that ISO for like 15, 20 seconds. Well, there's 15, 20 seconds of more volume that you would have got that you didn't have if you just dropped it after a full rep. So you can still go to failure a little bit further than you think just by being a little bit smarter. And this is going to be superset with. This is, we try and be as smart as we can with our exercise selection. So say some of you might be training in commercial gyms. So say you're doing this lat pull down, for example, which I previously did. You can bring the dumbbells for Z press over. So you're not feeling like you're hogging 2 bits of kit. So you can do lat pull, you can turn around, just bring some dumbbells over from the rack, you can do your Z press. We've done the same with this. We try and think to how we can make your sessions as effective and as efficient as possible. So we've done the strict bicep in the squat rack. You might get a bit of stick for curling in the squat rack, but it's all good. You can say SW7 assigned it to you. Same bench, Probably the same dumbbells, you're going to be there or thereabouts, maybe give or take 2.5 kilo. So with the same dumbbells, I don't feel like I'm hogging too much kit in the gym, we're going to do skulls, dumbbell skulls. I'm going to roll back, fix your elbows at this point. So I want my arm here to remain at 90 degrees up to my elbow. So when I'm doing triceps, I'm here. I'm not coming down because I'm going to be using a little bit of chest to push myself up. I don't mind you going backwards a bit because you're stretching that tricep, so that's okay. But if you go back, I don't want you coming forward too fast because you're going to create that momentum. We want to isolate the triceps. So ideally you fix from shoulder to elbow. That does not move here. This position doesn't move. And we just come up, control it on the way down. Don't just give in to gravity. Control it on the way down and put it back up. So I'll give you a set now. So I just twist those dumbbells out at the bottom there, just so I can clear the dumbbell, so I can get more range of motion. And then I can straighten back up. I'm not relying on momentum there, that's all tricep. Okay, I gotta give you one more tip. So, again, you can go to failure a little bit further than this. Not for all 3 sets, but just here's my last set. Now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna press them up. I'm just gonna do an eccentric for 5 seconds. Eccentric is just this, lowering phase. 3, 4, 5. I'm never pressing that back up, so rotate them around. I can press up using my chest, not my triceps, like a chest press, and do another 5-second eccentric. 3, 4, 5. Roll them down, press them back up, and I'll do one more just to really finish them off. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, bitch. 4. Again, I wouldn't do that for all 3 sets, just my last one. But you might think you get to failure, but you can still go a little bit further, just being a bit smarter. So remember those 2 techniques for bicep, tricep. Next time you do this, save the session, give it a go. On your last set, really go to failure just to try and help stimulate some of that muscle growth by just being a bit smarter. All right, that's it. So that's 1 hour all in. Probably do that maybe 5-10 minutes quicker, but I've been doing a little bit slower because I did get carried away with the bench press, not gonna lie. I went for an extra set of 3 because I was going quite well. 1 hour all in, that's our built for life. What is that? Not including the warm up. You've got like 18 sets maximum. Any more than that, you're probably not training with enough intensity, like some of the methods I just showed you, going to failure. So if you're in a gym for 30 sets, like maybe scale back what you're doing, do more quality, and then if you want to cover other exercises, we'll cover them off in sessions 2, 3, and 4. So don't worry. I think some young coaches try and do everything in one session. That's why you have blocks, because you can focus on all those movements spread across your 4 sessions throughout the week, 2 upper body, 2 lower body in this BFL example. But over the 2 sessions, we'll cover most of the bases. And if we don't, you'll get it in the next block. So that's a taste of what our BFL looks like. You can check out more on the app. I hope that was helpful. Save it, give it a go, and we'll see you on the next one.